I'll give it another minute to get. Yes, sir. Going to call this meeting to order. Please rise and salute the flag. Notice by heart. The adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all council members and to all legal newspapers in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Public is hereby advised that any statements made during the meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook may not be privileged or protected, and that persons or entities who take issue with such comments or are offended by same may and have in the past sought legal redress through the courts. Any member of the public who addresses the council speaks for themselves and not for the council. Notice is hereby given that beginning January 1st, 2026, the complete text of all legal notices required to be published in the Township of Saddlebrook shall be obtained or viewed on the Saddlebrook website, saddlebrooknj.us. In addition, the New Jersey Secretary of State will be establishing a legal notice hyperlink page, allowing members of the public to find hyperlinks for every municipality. On or about March 1st, a hyperlink to the Secretary of State's webpage will be published on the municipal webpage as soon as same is available.
You done? Okay, for first order of business, motion to open the meeting to the public.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Raccomando.
Second.
Second by Mr. Garrick. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No objections. Meeting is now open to the public. Mr. Van Winkle.
Thomas Van Winkle, 128 Lincoln Avenue, Saddlebrook. I want to begin, I wasn't here for the June meeting, I was unable to attend, but I want to share my thoughts on Peter Lodico, especially since today is the 1 month anniversary of his passing. You couldn't find anybody better, more not knowledgeable of our town, just involved in our town for over 50 years, from being on the Board of Education to the council, being a mayor, and of course our township clerk. He was somebody I looked up to, somebody who I enjoyed talking to about our town's history, talking about all different council meetings back in the day. I know the mayor even said that last month. He would always tell me stories too about council meetings back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and every year just remembered he just had, and I'm stealing the mayor's thunder a little bit and just saying how great of a memory he had, just how he remembered everything. I used to always joke with him with the township events, like the picnic, for example. I used to say, "Oh, let's do it by your house." Those of you who know where Pete lived, you know what I'm talking about. and he'd always get a kick out of that. He loved everything about Saddlebrook, and that's what really made him Mr. Saddlebrook, and he will be missed. You know, and he just was very approachable, very friendly, and I know Frank is doing a great job following in his footsteps, and I wish him all the best on continue as township clerk, deputy clerk, and then township clerk. Okay. And actually, the other thing, my idea with Pete, I know we've been talking about like ways of honoring him. My idea is there's twofold. Number one is, you know, with Mayhill Street, after the traffic light, as you head past Acme to get to here, is to name that part of Mayhill Street to like Lodico Way, Lodico Street, name that part of Mayhill, change that to Lodico Way, and then I guess you have to change the address of this building, you know, 55 Lodico Way, Lodico Street, whatever's involved with that. The other idea, my other suggestion is to either name this council chambers after him, or even name the whole building after him. I mean, it's definitely something that should be considered. So I think definitely, I know you guys all want to honor him, and I know you will, and I look forward to hearing what comes out of that. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is a community partnership, because in my hand here, we have this community partnership back in May started a new newsletter. It's called Saddlebrook Community Connections. And really for those people who attend our community partnership meetings on the fourth Thursday of every month, one of the biggest sections of our meeting is devoted to talk about stories of collaboration and partnership. And that's really highlighted in this Community Connections newsletter. It's printed, it's available at various businesses in town, also available in the 3 entrances to the municipal complex. There are copies on the table where the agendas are in here, and I thank you for letting me put them there as well. They're in the rec center, town hall. I put them at the library, First Reformed Church, my church. It's a whole bunch of places. I'll be sitting here all night naming them. I'm just going all around town, just handing them out different businesses, and we'll continue doing that. It's going to be printed monthly, also available digitally monthly. And I want to emphasize too, it's no cost to the residents because we use LPI. Okay, so we use LPI, and you know, for the senior center newsletter, so it's no cost. So I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you.
Yeah, stay up there. Just one question, and
Yes.
I apologize. We did talk about your July 4th event at the church. I had 25 people at my house. I couldn't, but can you just say how that went?
Sure. We had roughly 55 people in attendance. We had dignitaries, township officials, and the mayor was in attendance. Our Father Bruce from St. Philip's, Pastor Park of New Light Korean Church, which shares the First Reformed Church. They worship in our building. And of course, our interim pastor, Pastor Tom Larkin, amongst other people. So I really want to thank them for, you know, kind of help lead service, lead the prayers. It was beautiful. We had the service downstairs in our Van Wyck Fellowship Hall, which is the name of the fellowship hall in the church basement. We set it up all nice. I also want to thank too he serves as our chairperson of buildings and grounds in our worship committee. His name is Tom Wojcik, who was very instrumental in putting this together. So I do want to acknowledge him for making it all possible. It was a beautiful day. And then after the service, we went outside. We rang the bell for 250 seconds, so the bell just kept going for 4 minutes straight. So
That was at 2:50 p.m. celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States. This is my question. Were you able to hear any other church bells while you were there?
I couldn't hear it at the church, and because that bell, for those of you who heard the bell, it's very loud. And that church bell that we rang, is original from 1901. It's been on the church property for 125 years. Wow. And it still works. It was restored in 2019. It works like a charm because of the restoration. So.
I'm sorry I couldn't make it. That sounds like a cool.
Also want to thank the town also for the food truck, for providing the food truck for the hot dogs. I also would be remiss, I want to thank the fire department as well, who brought the tents over so that we could set tables up out in the parking lot on Ackerman Avenue. So I do want to thank, I don't know if Chief Wenzel's here, but I want to thank him and the fire department for all their help on that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Sylvia Zottarelli, 236 Lindsay Ave. I was at the work session. You guys know I came up and I asked about what was going to be done about Walmart. Mr. Simaluka, you keep saying that it's an enforcement issue. What are you going to do about enforcing? I just sat here almost 2 hours and listened to everything you're going to do to help Leicester Avenue residents, which they deserve it. What are you doing about the Lanza Avenue residents? This is 6, 7 years that I've come and complained. You know it's a valid issue. Other residents have come. They're disgusted. They don't want to come anymore. So I'm just curious as to what it takes to get something done. If it's enforcement, it's up to you guys to enforce it. We can't. So I don't think that's a valid excuse anymore. I really don't. That's one. Second, as far as Pete goes, some people might think it's creepy, but it's an idea. I think to make a bust of his head and put it on a pedestal or something and showcase out in the front hallway. That's all I got.
While we have the officers here, she's right. I keep talking about enforcement. How are we doing with the enforcement of the noise that's behind Walmart to help out these people across the creek? Either of you guys want to comment on that? No?
We're doing fine. Once we get calls, we respond.
Okay.
If you hear the noise, it will, issue.
It is, and I've said this for years, that two things that I think should happen. Our code enforcement officer should do a drive-by at least once a day. I think he works 4 hours a day. It doesn't take long to go around that building for refuse, whatever trash is there, things like that. But if he does that and he sees something, he would report it. Also, that being that it's a known area, that the police should do enhanced, and again, I'm not a cop. The mayor was a cop. I'm just maybe talking out my butt, I don't know. But I think, again, enforcement is to go there and sometimes be proactive and not wait for the call, because sometimes people get disgusted or, they just don't want to do it and call because they feel that their calls aren't being answered. But have the drive-bys. It doesn't take much. If somebody's going to, on 46, to make that loop and go back there and see what's going on. And if they hear anything, do it. I know that there's no way that you're going to catch every time that there's a loud noise. It's just, and I think Mrs. Ottarelli would understand that there's no way every single time something happens. Something happens, I see that all the time. Somebody will say, where's a cop when you need it? Well, we have 3 of them. You can't. But if there's a drive-by and you see them and you kind of know when they're doing this, drive by and see. And if they're doing something wrong, issue tickets, issue summonses, because they can't just disturb or said at length at the work session that this is a resident-friendly council, a resident-friendly town, and we don't want people to come here for 5 or 6 years on the same problem. Again, I said it's enforcement. I think it is. I don't know what else to do. I can't issue a ticket, but you guys can. So if you can, just try and make a special effort. So not that I don't like seeing Ms. Zottarelli, but this way, when I see her, it's on better circumstances. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anyone else want to address the council?
Good evening, Omar Rodriguez, Satterbrook, candidate for mayor. It's going to be a speed bump on the agenda on Claremont Avenue. More than a dozen residents, while knocking door to door, has expressed their concern about being a shortcut for Market Street. This is just the beginning. When Market Street opens with these 60 new units and 120 cars coming in there, right now, it takes 25 minutes to half hour to leave Market Street. How long we will take? Then definitely they will take Claremont as a shortcut. Talking about those 60 units that has been sold for $1.6 million, $26,000 each unit, every time that I say something, it seems like I'm making it up, but everything is on the record. They say that 120 cars will be coming into Satterbrook and will improve the traffic on Market Street. I want to see that. And it's on the record. It's not made up. So we should have, Mayor, some debates on a lot of issues because 3 minutes is not enough to discuss a lot of issues like the high density on housing in town. People wants to know if you have any new ideas for the future and betterment of the residents. Actually, if 120 cars are gonna come, I want you to explain to the residents, how are they going to improve the traffic on Market Street? If anything, it will make it worse. Then, on the high density, Poramos is an example. They were told by the state that they have to build 1,000 low-income housing units. They managed to reduce it by 68%, and they just have to build 340 units. Saddlebrook have to build 279 plus 42, so it gives you 341, but we didn't negotiate with the state. So we're gonna have to build 341. I don't know, we have to come a little more creative, I think. The debates, for many months I've been saying we should go for debates because a voter that is more informed will make a very better decision in November. I believe that the residents deserve more than that. Finally, last month, I asked the council and mayor, by dismissing the bus driver for the senior citizens, how much money it will save us. I didn't have a response. Then I want to ask, how much money does it take to print all those nicey glossy brochures for the town that it just serve the purpose of selling yourselves, but not to the residents? And it was some words that were not right against the senior citizens. I'm one of them. And I would just like to say that the poor choice of words that we're saying against the seniors is bad. They're not second-class citizens. They are the main part and part of the town. We have to treat them with respect and love. Thank you all for listening. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez.
Hello, Karen Darminio, 537 Avon Lane. Omar, I'm sorry you're walking out, but, yeah. Okay. I'm going to be a good note. As the new director of the senior center, we now have lunch. Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, $1.25 is requested donation. We are doing really well. And I invite all the seniors in the town to come and have lunch with us. We have trips, we have line dancing, we have lots and lots of activities. So it's all good. And I don't know why he says we don't treat our seniors well, because I have been down there for 30 years. And now that I'm in charge, seniors are first, and that's all I want to say.
Karen, can I just ask you a question? The senior bus, we cut the hours of the driver from full-time to part-time, and then we terminated services and also the bus. I know we had a young lady here who had an issue, and it really impacted her. But have you been down there on a daily basis? Is there a lot of kickback on, or I should say, pushback on
No,
this?
and actually, when the bus driver went to 4 days, he was part-time. 2 of those days, one day he went to the mall in the morning, and then one day he went to ShopRite on Thursday. We had exactly 7 calls for the doctor, so there were 7 appointments in 5 months for doctors. All he did, I don't want to talk about anybody, but the mall and shopping was the primary. And when we took it away from them, they were disappointed, and we're sorry that they did. But the county offers a better service. They're handicapped in the bus. Like, we had somebody call for the doctors that wanted to go in a wheelchair. We can't accommodate them. We can't strap down the wheelchair. So, you know, the bus is old. And really, we didn't get the calls for it,
All right,
other than shopping.
Thank you.
Okay.
Denise Monastery, 25 Dana Way. Good evening, Mayor and Council and friends. First, I would like to thank Township Administrator Jimmy Holmesy for taking the time to speak with me. The conversation was productive, and I appreciated the update he provided regarding the senior bus. One point that was reinforced was during our conversation is that providing services is only one part of the equation. If residents do not know a service is available, then for all intents and purposes, that service does not exist for them. Outreach needs to be active, not passive. A notice on a website, a Facebook post, or information available at the senior center and local businesses will reach the people who are already connected. The challenge is reaching the seniors who are not connected. It is the same concept as when someone is running for office. A candidate with only a website, a Facebook page, and a flyer at a campaign office will have limited reach, while a candidate who combines those tools with door knocking, phone calls, mailings, community presence, and direct engagement will reach far more people. The strategy is the same whether we call it outreach, marketing, or communications. There is a significant difference between actively promoting a service versus saying the information is available on our website. In an effort to better understand the decline in ridership that led to the discontinuation of the senior bus, I submitted an Open Public Records Act request, OPRA request, for bus records from January 1st, 2024, through when the township ended the service on May 22nd, 2026. The township provided records from August 6, 2025, through May 14th, 2026. After following up with the deputy clerk regarding the missing records, I was informed that those additional records could not be located. This is not to criticize anyone. However, good governance depends on accurate and well-maintained public records in order to make informed decisions. Data allows leaders to understand how a service is currently being used, where gaps exist, and how future decisions should be made. Reliable records also preserve institutional knowledge rather than assumptions. When records needed to evaluate a public service are unavailable, there is a ripple effect because public trust can be eroded when information needed for accountability is incomplete or unavailable. Transparency is essential because we are making decisions that directly affect the lives of people living in our town, especially with something as important as transportation, which goes far beyond point A and point B. Community transportation is a bridge to civic life. The Bergen County Transportation Program is outstanding. I use it, but it does not operate on weekends or evenings. So how does a senior who no longer drives attend the township picnic in August? That's on a Saturday.
Ma'am, I'm
How
gonna
do they
have
get to
ask you
National Night Out?
Ma'am, I'm just going to ask you to finish up because
Yep, I
you're
will.
beyond the time, so just, I'll give you a chance to finish up.
Yep, how are they able to participate in council meetings like this one? And how do they attend evening concerts, community celebrations, or events like one hosted at our local church, which sounds beautiful? These are simply not transportation questions. They are questions about inclusion in our community life. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Jerry Taylor, 318 Shepherd's Avenue, Township Council candidate. Through the chair, do we know, with all the dispensaries in town, is there a line item in the budget that shows how much money the town is making off of those dispensaries?
I think there's only one that's been active and one that's brandy new. So, I mean, we're not overrun by dispensaries. But in terms of where that money goes, I know we get the 2% of the revenues, and not just the profits, but the revenues. Let me stand up. But I'm going to defer, wow. I'm going to defer to our business administrator to, like, is there an item in the budget for income relevant to the dispensaries?
Yeah, there is a revenue permit line, and on top of that, that it gets deposited into. And in addition, I do keep a spreadsheet that's a report that anyone could have access to, that's shared with the council on a monthly basis, what those figures are each month from each dispensary. But as Mr. Simuklis said, right now, one is active, one just recently opened. So right now, it has been the one retail shop that has been contributing their mandated taxes.
And is it also true with the, I heard that the Moe's, where Moe's is next to the cleaners, was going to be another dispensary? So that'd be 3 on 46, or no?
Well, just so you're, 40, we developed and determined the best places to put these dispensaries, and we made an overlay district. So that's where they're supposed to be, for the most part, on
Okay.
46. But in terms of Moe's, I think that was going to be a medical dispensary, and I'm not sure about the mayor. Do you have any idea about what went on with that? Is that still
Medical, not public.
it's not going forward? It's probably not going forward.
Oh, all right, and in relation to 580 Midland with the, I know the zoning was changed. Question, I guess, to the attorney. Once that goes to be developed, will the residents be notified, like when you go for a variance and a person does that? Will there be notices coming to me, since it's going to affect me, saying that there's meetings going to start?
Yes, any applicant that's submits plans for a development to either the planning board or the Board of Adjustment has to satisfy 2 advertisements. One is in the newspaper, which a lot of people don't read, and one is residents within 200 feet will get a notice by mail, typically certified, because the applicant has to prove that he
Sent it
provided
out.
the service. In addition to that, it probably will be posted on the website, and you know, the agenda gets posted. So you should have no difficulty in knowing when that application, if it's ever filed, will be heard.
Okay. And just one last thing. The BA stated that the budget was advertised 28 days before. Last week, I did a search trying to find the budget, and I could not. Can you tell, like, I even looked on our website, on the town website, and looking for the budget itself. I had a summary, but I didn't have individual line items. Is that where normally it is?
Jerry, your time is
Yeah, I
done,
know.
but I'll, Jimmy will respond, definitely.
That was the advertising period, so in our required local newspapers, that's the noticing requirement, it was located.
But to actually find the actual budget itself, you're just advertising that it's out there? In other words, I'm looking for a copy of it.
Yeah, no, it's after adoption, it should be placed on the website, and then, of course, anyone could come in and request it. Even after its introduction, it could be requested.
Have to come here.
No, I believe the question is, before the adoption, before we had our meeting,
Be able to get a
was there
copy
an
of it.
ability for a member of the public to come in and look at the book?
Yes, after it's introduced, yes, it's a public record after it becomes introduced.
But it doesn't go out online per se until after it's approved by the budget, by the council.
Typically, we put the adopted version on the website, yes.
Okay, all right. And speed bumps are back, and they're painted. They look great over by us, so thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I got to cut you off. You just lost a minute from next month.
Good evening, Andrew Judges, candidate for Township Council in November. Just a few questions. I've been asking the low-income housing, the 279 units who were given from the state, which is just a ridiculous high number. Where are we, specifically exactly in that negotiation? Is there a negotiation window? What is the actual number from the 279 units that the township has agreed to? Also, I was here last month during the budget. We have a page for the water budget, which is over $2 million, and then what I was referring to was a water utility budget that went from $273,600 to $148,900. That's the $125,000. People are very confused why there's a water budget and a water utility budget. So specifically the water utility budget, where that $125,000 went. And I think, a lot of people, throughout the town, many districts, neighborhoods, they're very interested in, this local election in November, and when the council candidates and mayor candidates, when they're going to be having multiple debates. I think maybe 3 or 4 debates, one in August, one in September, maybe 1 or 2 in October. So I believe both heads of the clubs were supposed to communicate, and that hasn't happened. So just looking for those follow-ups. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to defer to Mr. Holmesy, or the mayor on who should address the housing units, because I know that Mr. Rodriguez somehow came up with 300-something units, and I think Mrs. Zizic had it for 279. I know that was the number that was proposed by Fair Share Housing, but the number was much less than that. Mr. Holmes, you want to talk about that?
Well, I would like to address the process, but I don't have the exact numbers. Do you have the exact numbers, Dan?
Yeah, I believe the 279 is accurate, and then after going through the process, it was reduced to 17.
17.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just to, again, correct, I know it sounds, and maybe, hopefully that's not the intention to say 279 when it's not accurate. So, first of all, the town didn't just accept the number that Fair Share came up with. It was contested heavily by a special attorney that the governing body hired who specializes in the affordable housing area. And as a result of that, going through the process, which involves a special master, I have to give a little history so people understand the significance of it. So a special master is considered an independent individual appointed by the court. That special master has a tremendous amount of influence on what the ultimate outcome is going to be, because the judges essentially consider them the only independent, objective person involved in the process other than themselves, and therefore their recommendation as to what the numbers should be is extremely important. So the council was able, through this process, to get credit for affordable housing units that were already built at one location, to get credit for the units that are being built at Market Street, and to reduce the number significantly, as our administrator stated, from what they initially wanted to what is reduced to. And in addition to that, the council was able to draft an agreement that was approved by the court that allowed them to satisfy their prospective need, which is for the 4th round to get the certification and the immunity from a builder's lawsuit, to meet it with an overlay zone, which means that if someone wants to build in a particular zone, and no one has come forward yet, they would have to have a set-aside of 15 or 20% of whatever they're building for affordable housing to meet this prospective need. So the possibility that nothing gets built, that could happen, because we don't have to go out and find a developer. The developer has to be willing to build with an affordable housing component, and we're not obligated to give them a pilot for the project. So it's very difficult with the course of things for developers to think it's in their financial interest to build affordable housing units, unfortunately, for those who are in need of those. So the scenario being painted is not any near what is accurate, nor is what is truthful. And although I did not handle the case, I think the attorney who did for the township did a very good job in getting the number reduced and getting a settlement that, I have to say, for the most part, no one will probably even realize where these affordable housing units are, or if they even ever get developed. Jimmy, was there anything else that I missed?
No, I think just the builder's remedy, that we have immunity from builder's remedies lawsuit too included in that.
Yep.
That's about it.
And just before we open to this young lady here, just the difference between water, water budget, your water utility budget? What do we?
I mean, this should be all in the water utility. I could take a closer look. If you have questions, I'm happy to,
No, there was a question as to, there was $125,000 difference between last year and this year in one of those two. I think the question was, what's the difference between a water budget and a water utility budget? Because he's saying there's two different sets of numbers.
Yeah, I mean, the water utility should be its own utility budget. And I have to look closer at the operating budget to see what exactly is in there for that as it relates to water operations.
But is there a water budget, are there two separate areas, like a water, but and I don't.
To me, I don't think, I would have to double check. I don't think, to me, everything water related should be in the water utility,
Can
but
you
I'll
look
look to
into that, so
verify.
this way at the next meeting, we can address the residents' concern?
No problem.
Okay, ma'am, please state your name.
Yes. My name is Juanita Hickman, and I live on Finnegan Avenue, Saddlebrook. And I'm here to speak with the mayor and the council personnel in reference to our former bus driver, senior bus driver, Howie, whether it was a matter of being fired or retired. I had been taking that bus for many years, having lived in Saddlebrook. And if, let's say, for any reason, well, first of all, I started taking the bus with another driver before Howie took over. And then the other man moved out of state. Howie took over, and we got many years of good service. And as for our packages and whatever we had were assisted through him, or let's say Sandy, who would be the assistant riding on the bus. However, at some point in time, let's say when Howie would take off, there would be another individual named Jason who would be the relief person. But I just came to speak on behalf that for the years of service that Howie drove the senior bus, I have no complaints of the service. And whether it was for the mobile or let's say, let's say for shopping or for the mobile. And then somehow in recent years, there got to be some small issue as to the heaviness of our packages. And I'm one of those individuals. Instead of me having to deal with 20 bags, I'd rather have 3 heavy bags and maybe 2 lighter bags. But that was my personal way of doing it. But the service was good, and I miss him. And the changes have been regarding the Bergen County transportation. And I had started to take them doing the Saddlebrook Senior Bus service because they would take us most any time for our medical appointments. And that worked out better for me.
Ma'am, can you,
So,
your 3 minutes is up, but I'll let you finish up. This-
well, that's mainly what I wanted to say, to speak on behalf of Howie, that the service was good during the time I was there, and the others who assisted with him, I have no complaints. And I'm dealing with the county now, and so far it's going good, but would be good if we could have all of the personnel right in our group together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'm going to reach out, Karen or Paula, if anyone speaks to Howie or Rose, can you just relay this young lady's comments and her commendations to Howie? Thank you. Anybody else wish to address the council? Okay, seeing no one.
Motion to close the meeting to the public.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion. Yes, sir.
This gentleman.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir, I didn't see you there.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
My name is John Vitovic. I live on Caldwell Avenue in town. For the past few years, I've been periodically coming here and complaining about the Saddlebrook Senior Bus and the dictatorial procedures of the driver. 2 years ago, I went to the township clerk, Peter Ludico, God rest his soul, and I asked for all policies, procedures, rules, regulations governing the Saddlebrook bus. Well, he laughed at me and he said, that covers just about everything. And I said, I want to be thorough. 3 weeks later, he came back to me and he said, John, there are no rules, regulations, policies, or procedures regarding the senior bus. I said, you mean the operator of the bus just does whatever he wants? There's no control, there's no oversight on him? And he'd come up with rules like, you can't have more than 3 bags. The 3 bags can't weigh more than 10 pounds each. You don't expect me to pick them up and put them on the bus. Then he came out with little one-liners like, you can't drink all that soda. Then he looks at my wife and says, do you do shopping for the neighborhood? You can't weigh more than 100 pounds. Actually, she weighs 109 pounds. And he complained about just about everything. So it got to the point where my wife would come home occasionally in tears. I spent a lot of years in the Marine Corps. I was ready to go outside to the senior bus and invite him behind the property and would straighten us out. I don't make my wife cry. I'll be damned if somebody else does. And my wife kept on saying, it's okay, I'll take care of it myself. I'm glad to see him gone. And this nonsense now about him and his champions going around town saying, oh, he was forced out. Well, after I retired from the Corps, I got a job in private industry. And I learned there's 2 ways of leaving a job. You either resign or you're terminated. I don't know what forced out is, but I'm fed up with this nonsense. And in actuality, sir, and I apologize for this, I blame the council. You created the Saddlebrook Senior Bus with no control, no oversight, no supervision, no management, and it's like, oh God, we got a senior bus, that's wonderful, and nothing behind it.
Sir,
Excuse me for talking while you're interrupting.
No, well, you're
And the
you're
senior
above the
bus
three-
driver
Turn the mic off.
insults.
Sir, you got
Yeah.
3 minutes, and you knew that, and you're way over the 3 minutes. So I gave you a little leeway, but I'd ask
If
you
you want to cut me off, that's fine, sir.
Yes, sir. It's a 3-minute meeting.
You're done?
No, you're done.
Good. You have a good
Thank you very
evening,
much.
sir.
You got it. Ma'am, you already had your time.
I thought we were allowed to speak twice.
No.
Last time somebody came, he came up twice last time.
Who?
Last meeting I was here, he came up twice.
No, it's one time. You used your 3, and you were over your 3 minutes. Anyone else?
Let me ask you this, if I may, sir. You have a guy talking for over 20 minutes. What happened?
Anyone else wish to address the council? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Close the meeting?
Motion to close the
Motion to
meeting.
close? Second by Ms. Mazer, all in favor? Okay. Meeting is now closed to the public.
Councilman Zamaluka, he was asking about the longer time, and that's during the work session. I don't think the gentleman understands.
Yeah, work sessions are different.
That was the work session, sir, during our work session, which was earlier in the evening, you have unlimited time to speak.
Well,
Yeah, I just want to clarify that for you, sir.
and there was kind of a special meeting within a meeting on Leicester Avenue, so that was, we opened the meeting just on that issue, so that's why that took an hour in itself. Okay,
Through the
comments?
Chair, did you want me to address the comments that were made regarding the Market Street project? Was there, again, there were several misstatements, or just let it go?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so, and I know this has been said multiple times by the individual, and I've responded the same, so he keeps repeating it, so I'm going to keep repeating the response. The value and the cost of the units was not $26,000 as he stated, because the developer also had to build 40 underground parking spaces for our police department, which was estimated by our engineer to have a value of $1.2 million, which brings the cost of each unit to $46,666. In addition to that, the developer did not receive a pilot, so he has to pay the full property taxes value, which at last year's value, and we all know residential values have been going up significantly every year, would have generated a tax revenue of approximately $325,000 to $340,000 on property that was, of course, tax exempt while the municipality owned it. As to the comment that testimony was that the parking would be improved, no, that was not the testimony. The traffic engineer, whose testimony was confirmed by our own engineers who attended the meeting, stated that the impact to traffic existing is not good on Market Street, but this would have a negligible impact to the point that no one would know the difference, because although there is parking for 120 vehicles, there's not going to be 120 vehicles going out onto Market Street, number one, at the same time, and number two, not that volume at all, because you have to take into account that everybody is not going to drive their vehicle every day, between the fact that they may not be working, or they may be working remotely, or they may be using public transportation. So again, it wasn't that parking would be improved, but that it would, I mean, the traffic, but it would have a very negligible impact with respect to the existing traffic issues on Market Street. So hopefully, those statements will not have to be repeated that were made, nor that I have to repeat what the actual facts are, so that the public realizes what the true situation is as to that Market Street project.
I think you had said 26,000, it's 30, he had said $36,000.
Oh, I thought he said 26.
No, I think it's 36. And in regard to traffic, my recollection is, he is correct. Nobody on this council ever said that traffic would be improved. The person making the presentation, who was an advocate for the builder, said that there would be a slight improvement, which I don't agree with. I believe that it may be negligible, and it may be the same, or it may be worse, but that if it's worse, it would be negligible. But certainly, I can't see how it would improve. He had some idea about how it would improve it. I didn't buy it then, I don't buy it now, but I think we're going to have, and I'm going to ask the mayor to speak on this, because there is conversation. I've spoken about it for years, about the intersection of Market, Essex, Rochelle Ave, and Main Street, right down the road here. And if and when that comes to fruition, it's going to solve a lot of the problems that we currently have, and will make, I believe, this project absolutely to have absolutely no impact on traffic. So we'll start with comments from the mayor.
Okay. You know, why don't we start there, because with the meeting that myself, Jimmy Holmesy, and Bob Klein, a virtual meeting that we attended
Right,
with
right.
the New Jersey Department.
And there is a new meeting,
For the
July-
public, yes.
What's that, Tuesday?
21st.
Tuesday evening, 21st, from 6 PM to 8 PM. So, Mr. Holmesy, do you want to talk about that meeting and what went on?
So-
I think Bob might be.
I'm
the
gonna, yeah, I'm gonna
best
defer to
guy.
Bob, but I just want to be clear about that meeting on the 21st is open to the public, so anyone's invited to attend that meeting.
And just so we're clear, there's a flyer, now, I have it in my packet. Is this online?
It's on the table.
We have it at the table, it's online, and we have it at the pamphlet section too, at the.
Okay, so it is accessible. I urge everyone who is concerned about the traffic in Market Street, which should be every single resident of Saddlebrook who has a car or knows someone who has a car. You can join the meeting from your computer, tablet, or smartphone, go on the website or come to Town Hall and get that, and you can attend virtually. But we'll defer to Mr. Klein on what went on at the in-person meeting.
So they presented this project and where they currently stand. Apparently, it's been a project for a while. They're currently in the preliminary design phase. They're looking to replace the bridge that goes over the Saddle River so that they can add more lanes, more traffic lanes going through that intersection. In all four directions, which would certainly improve traffic flow. The whole reason they're doing this is because of the traffic issue that is there. They're gonna enhance pedestrian traffic as well. There will, of course, be, when it's under construction, an inconvenience. There'll be detours. I think what they're gonna do first is take care of the three legs that don't include the bridge first, which will initially improve traffic. And then while they're replacing the bridge, there'll be a detour, coming from either way on Market Street, going in both directions.
And that's the leg that's really impacts Saddlebrook people and Saddlebrook traffic.
Right. So that'll be part of what they present. And the project looks like, they gave dates, which are, I'm sure, preliminary, but right now preliminarily, they think construction is going to take place between 2030 and 2032 would be the time.
I was unaware of that. Yeah, because I've said it over and over. I went to a meeting, it's got to be a dozen years ago, and we talked about this, and I said the same thing. Make left turn only lanes on each leg of that intersection, and I believe that's what they're going to do. That seems like the only viable solution. Why it took, or why it's going to take almost 2 decades to get it done, that's not even local. That's county and that's state. And above us is Route 80, which is federal, and they are impacted because there's the structures holding up the highway. So they had to be involved, and probably DEP because there's a river involved. So you got all these agencies, and the more agencies that you get involved, the more time it takes. So I'm glad it's finally going to get done. I will not be a council person at that time to see it done, but I'll gladly go to the grand opening of that new intersection once they cut the ribbon. Mayor, do you want to do your comments, or was there other things?
Yeah, I was, well, the other thing, while with Mr. Holmesy, I wanted him to speak a little bit because we spoke about the bus service, and I just want him, because, well, I want him to tell the public how much money we are saving, and a little bit about the county bus service that Mr. Holmesy spoke to Mr. Sinque, who's the director at the county, and how many residents use the service, and how many total rides thus far, and how many they believe they'll do by the end of the year. And I think it'll shed some light on that. I don't want to get into the bus driver, what his performance was. He was with us a lot of years, and I thought he did a good job. But sometimes the county, they form this service, and they really, they built it up. I mean, it started small. It started with about 10 buses, and I think they got over 100 buses now. every bus has a driver and an assistant, an aide in the bus. Every bus has a ramp, that mechanical ramp that'll, that'll lift, I guess, to bring somebody that's handicapped into the bus. So, and you know what, it wasn't like we just ended it and said, hey, you know what, this bus service, the county service is better. So, we tried, we made the driver part-time, we wanted to see how that would work, we just didn't say, hey, look, you don't need it anymore, that's it. And it comes down to, a decision that it was better for the town. The town's going to save a lot of money. And Jimmy, just
Sure.
I just got
go
a
through
question, Mr. Scatino, being that that employee is no longer employed by the town, there's no rice notice requirement?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, at the full-time status, the salary was $55,000, and of course, whatever maintenance and operations to continue the operations with the bus and so on and so forth. So that was at the full-time status, what the cost was for us in the salary capacity. After speaking, as the mayor mentioned, after speaking with the county, we asked them for some data to confirm how many riderships are taking place in Saddlebrook. They confirmed they have registered in their system 285 residents from Saddlebrook, with a minimum yearly, at minimum each year, they're servicing 500 rides, at minimum, they stated. In addition, just looking in other towns with the operations, similar senior transportation operations, most operate in the same hours, timeframes of, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2, 3 p.m. So most, almost, if not all, operate in a similar fashion. You rarely see any that operate on weekends. Of course, for our big events, we offer that, and we're going to offer that at the picnic. They would pick up from Town Hall, a shuttle service back and forth. So we did arrange for that to continue this year. So nothing was, what we offered was fantastic, but the county, like the mayor said, has an aide on the bus. They're able to carry the bags for them for groceries, and we just felt it was a good business decision to continue the service to assist in our financial operations.
Thank you. Mayor?
Okay, I'm just going to start off by, someone mentioned about these debates that I guess the Republican candidates are looking to have. I said at the last meeting, look, this is not the place. This is a public meeting. This is not a campaign headquarters. This is not the place to talk about having debates. And I told the Republican candidate who's running for mayor, he had left, but I'm sure he watches the meetings. But I had said, I said that last week, or last month, I should say, and we didn't receive any calls. I said, look, you can call my campaign. There's a lot of ways to get in touch with me. You know what? I mean, I think our campaign's all over the place. And you can call the local Democratic chair, Mr. Garrick down there. We didn't receive any calls. So, why is it they keep bringing it up here at the meeting? So I guess at the public meeting that's televised, so that this way, you're getting it out there that, well, we want debates, but I guess our side doesn't. Nobody said we don't. But, we want to do it the right way. Look, I'm the incumbent. My team, me and Sarah are incumbents. If you want to have a debate, you do it the right way and contact our campaign. You have a Republican chair, Bob Kugler, okay? Have him contact either me or Mr. Garrick, and we'll get the ball rolling. So, but, we have to come to terms on it. I don't know why you're smiling out there, but that, I said it, I can't say, I'm not going to say it again. And you know what, if it's brought up again here, I'm not speaking. I'm just going to ignore it. So from now on, that's it. I just want to bring up something that Mrs. Monastery said. and she was talking about, and I agree with her, that, you do have to reach out to people that are shut-ins, seniors, people that don't have maybe access to computers. You really have to go out of your way. And I've always been an advocate that, I try doing that, the town tries doing it. I think we do a pretty good job. School district does a pretty good job too, but you could always do better. You can always do better. And I think that's what we strive for. We're going to strive to, get those people that might not, might not have access, that might not, know what's going on. Because, what, I've seen it, we've advertised things and put things all over the place, and no matter what, if it's a nice event that people, would have liked to have gone to, the shredding event, that's a good example, the shredding event. Every year, without a doubt, we'll post it, and, we'll put it all over the place that we normally do as far as advertising, and then the date comes, and we'll put a photo, oh, it went great, the shredding event went great, and I have, 3 or 4 people that, oh, I missed it, nobody told me, it's, and I feel bad, you know what, because obviously, we try to get to everybody we can. But unfortunately, some people are harder than others to get to. But when it comes to seniors, we really do have, and I agree with her, we have to try to make every effort to get to everyone that could use the services. Like this lunch program. It's a great program, it's going very well, but I know there's people out there that would love to do it, but they just don't know about it. They don't. They don't have family members, they live alone, they don't get out much, so we have to reach out to those people. So I'm going to go through my, my normal routine here as far as comments. Let's start with the budget. The estimated tax bills were mailed out at the end of last week, beginning of this week. And they're due by August the 10th. They should be by the end of the month, but there's a 10-day grace period. The tax rate is 2.377, which is up only 0.04 of a point. The average home in Saddlebrook now is valued at $500,700. So on the municipal side, taxes are increasing by just a little under $188 on the average house, which I just said, valued at $500,700. I just want to make sure that the seniors know, and not just the seniors, but there is tax relief offered out there in New Jersey. You got the Anchor program, you got the Senior Freeze, and you got the Stay New Jersey. Now they use one single form, which combines all 3 applications to apply for all of them, or some of them. Eligibility and payment schedules vary for each program, but please, if you're interested, check the New Jersey website at nj.gov, or for more information, you can also call our local tax collector, Linda, at 201-587-2914. Resolutions, I have ordinances, but we table that Leicester Ave ordinance. Resolutions, we have the appointment of Frank Borelli as municipal clerk. I just want to say that Frank has earned the position. He has his state certification already, so it's not something that he has to do. He's got it already. He worked under Peter Ludico for probably a little over 4 years and filled in Pete's absence. He did a good job, and Pete would have approved of Frank taking his place. I know that. I had many a conversation with Pete, and they got to be good friends, and I know Frank learned a lot from Pete. So, public service gas main project, we talked about that earlier. The engineer's report, that was in the first meeting, but they're doing work now at Floral Lane, George Street, John Ox Drive, and some other, Leonhardt, some other streets in there, and they should be finished in a month or 2. So, but then they're going to have to pave the trenches, so to make sure that they're solid. Also, the 2026 road resurfacing program, The engineer is working with the DPW superintendent, public service, because we're doing a lot of their roads with them to determine which roads should be paved. Also, the council weighs in on that as well. We have New Jersey DOT. We have a grant from last year for Floral Lane and South Street, but we're waiting on that because Public Service is doing the gas main. We want to get that done. And then, so how that would work is we're going to get, like, that's going to get covered under the New Jersey DOT grant. So we get credit from Public Service because they would have had to pave the road. So we get credit for another road. Bergen County Community Development Block Grant is South Street. That's going to be done probably the fall or the spring. And then the New Jersey 2026 New Jersey Department of Transportation grant, we've been awarded for Grace and North 7th Street. And then the Bergen County Community Development Block Grant for 2026 is Miller Street. I just want to mention, too, that we recently have opened up our Saddlebrook splash pad. It's going to be open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's at 20 Sampson Street, which is Veterans Field. For residents, Saddlebrook residents only, it's free. There's no charge. Okay, some events, some past events. They had the Carnation Ball on Monday, June the 1st. I'm going back a ways now, but that was a nice event for the 8th graders, middle school kids going into high school. Thank the Recreation Department for handling that. They do that every year. The Mayor's Fishing Derby was Saturday, June the 20th. I want to thank my secretary. She always handles all that and organizes everything, along with, I want to thank the fire department too, as well, and the ambulance corps that were there helping out. Fireworks, we got them off Friday, July the 3rd. They were late, but we had some unanticipated storms, and they didn't go off till about 10:30. So, some residents weren't too happy about that, but at least we got them off, and they were spectacular. They were very good this year at the park. Thank the fire department, ambulance corps, Mike Seitz, who runs the show there, or fire marshal. Everybody else, Raphael and Thomas for handling the video and the photos. Thomas talked about the bell ringing. I'm glad that Council President Simaluka mentioned that, so I'm not going to go over that too much, but it went well, and I really want to thank First Reform and Thomas Wojcik too as well, and Pastor Tom, for because you know what, I really felt we needed to do something, and they stepped up, and it was nice. It was a nice event, and I'm so glad we did it. And we got participation from the fire department, the ambulance corps, the board of ed helped out. I know St. Philip's, so Father Bruce was there. So upcoming events, we got National Night Out on Tuesday, August the 4th, right here at 6 p.m. in the parking lot. The Junior Police Academy starts August the 6th through the 14th. That's done here as well. The town picnic is Saturday, August the 29th at Saddle River County Park. The rain date is Sunday, August the 30th. The last thing I got is about the e-bikes. I'm very happy to say that the new laws go into effect on July the 19th, so next week, right? And thank God, because it's been a long road with that, and I've been on with the chief and the command staff, and I think they've done a good job with it as far as getting some enforcement, and because just because the new law doesn't go into effect to the 19th, these kids, they're really reckless. I mean, they're doing all kinds of things that they shouldn't be doing, and honestly, some of them are they're brazen, and they're they flip people the bird, and they just. And some of it, I mean, I've seen them do wheelies where they do have helmets on. I guess that's one good thing. But I've seen it where their helmet is hitting the pavement, and there's sparks coming from the helmet. You know, I know they can't be everywhere at once, but you know what? I think the last month, the last six weeks have been good, but we got a tremendous amount of complaints. I can't tell you how many complaints we got about these kids and their behavior. So, you know, and we got to keep enforcing, like Mr. Simaluka says, we got to enforce, especially that. And I know there was a lot of education, but I guarantee, you know what? The first person that you end up apprehending or whatever, if it's a juvenile and you take them home, I guarantee, oh, we didn't know nothing about it. You know, again, you know, it's about advertising. You know, somebody's going to say oh, I didn't know. They're going to conveniently say that, you know, because they're going to want to break. So, but we got to definitely stay on top of that. It's a big issue. And other things too, you know, like Mrs. Zottarelli says. You know, we know that the mall is a problem. You know what, so all I'm saying, and I think Mr. Simaluka was trying to say the same thing, is, you know what, there's a few problem areas. Luckily, we don't have that many. I don't know, 5 or 6. But those areas have to be priorities. You know, the officers on patrol have to go through there, you know, more than once. They got to go through, you know, every hour and check on it. And you've been doing that. You know, I know you've been doing that. But you got to stay on top of the officers. And I know sometimes they're busy. I get it. But when they're not busy, they need to concentrate on those areas. So that's all I have.
Mr. Accomando?
Yeah, well, with that being said, I think property maintenance should also hold their own, go there once, twice, 3 times a week, not just to put it on law enforcement, but if there's a littering issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's definitely on property maintenance. But from my understanding, I thought they were, once construction's done, they're putting a fence on that left side, well, the right side. So I
Yes,
thought it was
they
gonna
are.
be a gate that they had to get buzzed in to make
Yep.
deliveries. So that should help with some, that's what we're told.
Yeah,
If it
on the
happens,
right side.
who knows?
The left side, they wouldn't agree to it, but supposedly they were gonna put a security guard, like a shack over there.
Yes.
On that
That's
other
what
side,
happens.
because, well, hopefully they'll do
After
it.
construction, supposed, but we'll see. I just want to say, great job by the police for whatever happens in town. You guys mostly run short all the time, and you still seem to get things done, so thank you. As far as everything else, I just wish everybody a safe rest of the summer. And as far as everyone who gets up here to speak at that podium, I thank them, because sometimes they bring stuff to our attention. Sometimes they, in a nutshell, they speak bullshit. But it takes a lot to get up there and speak in front of a room full of people and a council. I was there. It's a little intimidating, but you get past it. It's surprising that lately it's been kind of professional where it usually isn't. And we're a small town. There's no reason to be hateful towards each other. It's too small of a town to be that negative when you come up to the podium and speak nonsense and lies. Well, regardless, have a great summer and enjoy the rest of the July. I believe we come back in August, right?
Yeah, August, one meeting.
Thank you to the council for putting up with what we put up with. And Mayor.
Ms. Mazur?
Thank you, Council President. Yeah, I just want to mention that I had the opportunity to have lunch at the senior center, and I have to say, the lunch was pretty good. They're doing an amazing job there, and I have to commend Karen Dominio and that crew. They really have a great system, and it seems like the residents are enjoying it. And afterwards, they play bingo certain days. I'm not sure, I know Friday for sure. But, and as far as the senior bus, I think we should take advantage of whatever the county has to offer us. We do pay county taxes, so why not? Right?
Right.
Thank you.
And as far as ordinances and things like that, you know what, it's trial and error with a lot of things that we're, trying out there. What nice to have, we could always amend it, change something up. But, we're always here to listen. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Garrick?
I have a few things this evening. First, I'd just like to congratulate Frank. I'm very confident in the job you're going to do. So, Frank, congratulations. We're happy to have you on board here, my friend.
I don't think we had the vote yet, so, you know.
Oh. Let me take that back then.
It's coming up.
The mayor had
Just kidding. No.
the mayor had mentioned the paper shredding, and all the dates are listed on the county website, the Bergen County Utility Authority, and sometimes I miss the date. And every weekend they have a different shredding event. It may be in Garfield or Lodi, and I believe it's open to all county residents. So if you're planning on coming to Saddlebrook, it's September 26th this year from 9 to 1. If you want to do it on Saturday, you can go over to Paramus. So they're usually throughout every community in Bergen County you can go to a shredding event. And it usually goes from the spring into the fall. So again, Paramus is tomorrow, but Saddlebrook's is going to be September 26th. I too want to commend Karen and her staff at the senior center. A lot of wonderful things are getting done there. That lunch program is excellent. And we got a lot of seniors going there, so it's a successful program. Also, I want to mention the spray park. Yesterday, I was down at Veterans Field. There was 50 students from the summer program jumping around, and I think it's a wonderful addition to the community. It cost us very little. We got a grant for $750,000, I believe, which was a wonderful thing. I also want to mention some things that we take for granted. Our road program. Prior to Bob White becoming mayor and our council being put together here, there wasn't a lot of roads getting paved. We've done a tremendous amount of road improvements. And for that, I want to thank you, Mayor, for doing that, as well as the council for all their hard work and the wonderful professionals that we have here working for us. The recreation programs are expanding. We haven't mentioned the library. The library programs are incredible. Also our parks, what's been done there. Pickleball, we're getting Fifth Street done, Kern Park, Mayhill, you name it. We've been doing so much here. And then we could talk about our first responders, police, fire, ambulance corps, our great DPW. We have people in this community that are incredibly committed and dedicated, and I want to thank every one of you. But most of all, we have a full-time mayor. He's working endless hours. We have a committed council here. So I'm optimistic about the future here in Saddlebrook, and the property values reflect that. People want to move to Saddlebrook. I've said it before, I'll say it again. There's a reason why the property values have escalated here. I said enough tonight. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garrick. Ms. Sanchez?
So, unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the bell ringing. I really wanted to, but it was my sister's birthday, so I unfortunately could not attend. I just wanted to say that the Green Team will be hosting the Sustainable Jersey Bergen County Hub meeting on July 27th at 7 p.m. And I also wanted to touch on Walmart with what Todd said. You know, hopefully when the construction is done, the issues will improve. If not, we're definitely going to have to look into something further. And there was a comment made earlier where it was said that, I'm not sure who, but who called the seniors second-class citizens, but I definitely don't feel that way, and I don't think that anybody else up here feels that way, and I was really bothered by that comment. So I just needed to say that because, you know, we definitely don't look at our seniors as second-class citizens, and if anything, we're always trying to improve, you know, the services that we have for our seniors. So I just wanted to address that.
Thank you. Yeah, no one on this council or the mayor or anyone who sits up here called seniors second-class citizens, and if they were, they would have been publicly reprimanded and humiliated, because that's just ridiculous. And certainly, we don't treat our seniors as second-class citizens. We do have a viable and vibrant senior program and senior center, and a great director. In terms of the young lady who did the Oprah request about some records for the senior bus, I'm not making excuses. There should be total transparency and there should be records. However, our longtime senior center director passed away a year and a half ago. So I do not know if he had the records at his home. I don't know any of that, but that could be an explanation. I'm not trying to get out of anything, but that might be an explanation for it. In terms of the bus, you know what? It's weird. You go on Amazon, you want to buy something, and you look at the reviews, right? And you always wonder, how is this a 5-star review? And there's a bunch of 5-star, and then there's 1-star reviews. I mean, it's the same product. Well, this is a perfect example today. You had a young lady here who gave 5 stars and said how wonderful the driver was and the whole program was. And then you had a gentleman coming up, and he wanted to have a fist fight with the bus driver. So it's just strange opinions, but just goes to show you how opinions can vary on different things. We had a very lengthy work session, and I'm not making it any shorter by talking a lot here, but a lot of it dealt with Leicester Avenue. There were issues on Leicester Avenue. We are trying to alleviate those to the best of our ability to try and help our residents. Not punishing any individual or any business, but we're trying to make this the parking situation on that street more tolerable. Thank you to Lieutenant Buchek and Captain Califano for your attendance and your input on that, and in reviewing what we had put forth. And thank you to Mr. Scatino, who did a great job on doing the ordinance. Now, what we did was there were some open spots in the proposed ordinance that we had to fill in, and we worked on that diligently during the work session. So Mr. Scatino's got to prepare it with all the, fill in the blank type thing. So we are I'm going to entertain a motion to table the ordinance for tonight when we get to that point. And hopefully that will resolve that issue. Again, there are certain areas in town that are known to be problem spots, and we try and do our best to concentrate on those. We talked about the graffiti ordinance. Speed hump on Sampson Street, there was a request for that. We're going to do a speed study on Sampson Street. We are also going to do a speed study on the eastern leg of Claremont Avenue, because there are some complaints over there. In terms of the 5th Street speed study, I thought, as chair of that committee, that we should put a speed hump right around 5th Street Park. We got some feedback, negative feedback from the fire department. However, former president of the ambulance corps, Bill Murgo, had shown me speed humps that are designed for to allow emergency vehicles with wider axles to proceed without having to stop, go over slowly, or damage the chassis. So we understand these are very, very expensive pieces of equipment. We certainly don't want to damage them, and we don't want to delay any response for our firefighters to get to a situation. So I talked to Mr. Klein about that. He looked at it, said it sounds good, but we're trying to locate a place that's actually been installed. So I'm going to get back to Mr. Murgo, and we're going to see if there's any place in the area that have actually installed them. It sounds like a great idea. It seemed like a great idea. What else I got? A second. Got the bus. Congratulations to everyone on the police department. Again, police issues that are being promoted, and you said it's on a Thursday evening, Mayor?
Yeah.
July 30th? Maybe?
July 30th.
July 30th, 6 p.m.
Here.
So anyone interested in attending, and that's going to be a couple of 2 captains and people moving up to sergeant and a lieutenant. A lieutenant. So there's four promotions.
Four promotions.
2 captains, 1 lieutenant, 1 sergeant. Okay, great, and great job on everyone to earn those promotions. They're not just given out, they're earned. That's it for me, other than, again, I can't emphasize enough, there's a lot of talk about how there's going to be a horrific impact on traffic by the building of these 60 units. Again, as the mayor said, or Mr. Scatino said, there's no guarantee that every single unit is going to have 2 cars. And there's certainly no guarantee that all of those cars are going to come in or out at the same time. And I always look back, now I know Midland Avenue is a busier street than Market Street, but Market Street's a little more concentrated. There's the development there that has 200, 300 units. I travel that way on the way to take my train and on the way back. I've never had an issue there. Now, Market Street is bad, but the implication, the assumption that this development is just going to, cause mass chaos is just not true. The traffic studies that we always have that have to be done indicate that there will be obviously an effect. You got people coming in and out, no matter what you build. But the people that are coming in and out are coming out at different times. So when people say there's going to be 120 cars, there's not robots that everyone comes out at 8 o'clock and they go get in their car and there's a procession to get onto Market Street. It just doesn't happen that way. So we think that the impact on the traffic will be negligible, if at all. Okay, I think that's all I have, and we'll go into ordinances. And actually, the first ordinance that we have on the books here is to establish a resident parking permit program on Leicester Avenue. We talked at length on that. I think we got that done right, and if we're not, we could always amend it. But since Mr. Scatino has to do some extra work on this, I'm going to entertain a motion to table that ordinance 1806-26.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Accomando, second by Ms. Major. Roll call.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Major.
Yes.
Council President Simulacro.
Yes, so that ordinance is tabled for this meeting. And maybe I'm missing something. The graffiti ordinance is where? Is that? Are we not?
Yeah, no.
That wasn't on the agenda.
That was on the
That will be
agenda?
ready for the next meeting.
Okay, it was tabled at the last meeting. Do we have to continue to table, or it's continuously tabled until we untable it?
If it's not on the agenda, it's continuously
Okay.
tabled until you untable it.
Okay, great. Okay, now we're going to go into, I guess, consent agenda.
All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless the council member so requests it, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. The one motion signifies adoption of all resolutions, receive and file letters, correspondence, reports, and approval of minutes and applications. Resolution number 6 will be voted on separately, as Councilwoman Mazur has to recuse.
Motion to approve the consent agenda other than Resolution 6?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Accomando. I think so. Looking for a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Garrick. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Seeing none, passes unanimously. And the next one is Resolution number 6. You want to read it?
It's payment of bills.
Okay. There's a resolution for payment of bills, and Ms. Mazur, you are going to abstain, so motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Accomando, second by Ms. Sanchez. Roll call.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazur. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. And Council
You
President.
got to call her so she can abstain.
Well, she's recused.
Oh, you're recused?
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize. It's a
And
recusal, not an abstain.
Council President Simulacro.
I say yes. Okay. Old business that we haven't talked about, new business that we haven't talked about yet. We don't want to beat any dead horses.
I just real quick, I just want to I want to thank the DBW. I always leave somebody out, and with all these events, they really do a great job. So very, thankful for them. I just want to mention too that, what Mr. Samaluka, you brought up about, the bus log, the book, and, we do know that it was seen. It was seen after we moved back from here to the center on Caldwell. And it was seen as of a couple of months ago. So, it's a little suspicious, that it's missing, and, we're not doing a full-blown police investigation into it, but we are, looking into some, Jimmy and I are looking into some things. I just wanted to get that out there, but, I also want to mention this, the senior center, Karen and Paula, they're doing a tremendous job. Ricky, the volunteers, Lori Lowry, I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but they really, with this lunch program, it's going fantastic. And you know what, to make a comment to say that any of us here call the seniors second-class citizens, you know what, I think the people that are watching the live stream probably aren't the seniors, but, the seniors watch the TV station, and they're gonna laugh at that, because you know what, I go to the senior center often, and especially with the new lunch program, and you know what, I see it on their faces, they're happy. They're happy, you know what, they're thankful, they're always saying, hey, this is great, thank you. You can just read their faces. They know that we don't consider them second-class citizens. If anything, we consider them very, very valuable citizens. And you know what, their generation is, the best, really. I don't think, there was a better generation than that group of, seniors over. Well, now I'm 65, but I'm talking about like you're 75, 80 years old, that they were the greatest generation. The World War II, well, a lot of them are gone now. Most of them are gone. But, that era. So, and we love them. I know I love them. So, and I want them to know that. And they know it because they feel it. You don't have to say it. They feel it.
It's very
I
true.
feel it, they feel it.
Very true.
Through the chair, just one item, I apologize to report on to satisfy my BA report tonight. I did attend the Ferrazzo Lane development for the affordable housing development over there. I did attend today virtually their lottery drawing. They did have over 400 applications submitted for interest in residing at the complex. So they will begin their process of contacting those individuals. So they will be moving in a couple months, not even very short. So there are a number of developmentally disabled, and the rest are income restricted, yes.
The developmentally disabled, I think they're all on the first floor.
I believe most if not all, correct, yeah. They have it structured in a way, this is, it's operated by Ingerman in collaboration with New Concepts for a Living. They're very familiar that this is not their first development. They're very reputable. They know what they're doing, and they're moving in process in the next month or two.
And I thought that when they did their presentation, there's like levels of low income. There's like low income.
There's
very
three
low
levels.
income and ridiculously low income.
There are 3 levels, yes. There's very
Is that
strict
the way they describe
criteria.
it?
I'm sorry?
Is that the way they describe it? Low income, very low income, and ridiculously low income?
No, not quite. Not quite.
Okay. That was an excellent BA report.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Sarah or Dave?
I just want to piggyback on something that the mayor said earlier. These meetings are for council business, not for campaigning and so forth. I have not received a call from anyone regarding a debate, and I pretty much know that the residents here in Saddlebrook know where the mayor and his team stands. So if there is going to be any type of get-together to discuss issues, we're in favor of doing that. I don't think we need 3-4 debates. This is not the venue to even discuss it, though. But they're going to continue to bring it up, and I just suggest not even talking about it. When we get a phone call, we'll set something up like we do every 2 years. We have something every 2 years, a Meet the Candidates Night, which is what we've done forever. Thank you.
Ms. Sanchez? Just one thing that we talked about at the work session for a bit is Mr. Accomando and I were discussing it and brought it to the attention of the council and the mayor and our engineer and our police department about the lack of stop signs on certain streets. So what we did was we asked the engineer to get together with the police department and see if maybe we can come up with an idea as to certain intersections that should have stop signs and don't. We identified a certain area of town that just seemed absent of stop signs, to be honest with you, and on intersecting streets, T intersections, but especially for the young drivers, that would be, I think it would be helpful and safer for our residents. Just one thing, I hope I didn't appear to be rude to the gentleman when I cut him off. No comments. This is not the public meeting portion. Thank you. So I hope I didn't appear rude to the gentleman who went over his time by, a bit. We do have the 3-minute time limit that was set in the beginning of the year, and I said this, and not everyone was happy about it, but because it is an election year, September and October meetings, I'm going to allow 5 minutes. Whether that's good or bad, it turns into, a crap show is to be seen, but I think that, we should extend it a little bit because there are election issues that need, even though there's no campaigning that's supposed to be done here, there are election issues that are important to the residents of the town. But again, if I seem to be rude, I apologize. We do have, some limits here, and they have to be enforced. And I give everyone a chance to try and finish up. No one here, by the way, no one finished, maybe Mr. Taylor, but no one did it in 3 minutes. We gave everyone a chance to finish their thoughts. So if I was rude to that gentleman, I apologize to him, and I apologize to the people in attendance and the audience out there. I don't think I was, but if I was, my apologies.
Mr. Maluka, you better get escorted by the police out there. He might be waiting. I think he could take you.
Yes, and you know what? I don't know if the new bike ordinance applies to rascals, but I don't want to get rode on by a guy in a rascal. In any event, motion to open the meeting to the public on agenda items and agenda items only.
Motion.
Mr. Garrick, second by Mr. Accomando. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any objections? No. Passes unanimously. Anybody want to speak on agenda items? Agenda items? No? Okay. No takers. Motion to close the meeting to the public on agenda items.
Motion.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Accomando, second by Ms. Sanchez. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Hopefully, there's no other comments. No. Jimmy, you're dying to say something, right? No? Okay. Supplemental BA report, nothing? All right. Motion. Wait, we need closed session?
Yes, but it's only going to be 5 minutes, which you'll understand when I explain it.
Okay. So a motion to go into closed session.
Motion.
Ms., all in favor?
Aye.
It's going to be about 5 minutes, and
Meeting will be open. Further action.
we expect that we're going to open the meeting just to close the meeting. So many important things to say. Thanks. Well, so you should have told me while I was on camera. Now it's. You know what? I'm from this council, and then I'm running for Board of Ed. Really? So we go.
Okay, Jerry.
All right. By the way, Joe Bev, status. Really? Shit. That was something? Yeah, no, I get it. But he's gotta be 90, right? Uh, Motion to reopen the meeting?
Motion to reopen the meeting.
Mr. Garrett, second by Mr. Accomando, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none. Motion to close the meeting. Motion Ms. Mazur, second Ms. Sanchez, all in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Seeing none. Meeting is now closed. Everyone have a good rest of July. We'll see you in August. I know, it's always the end of the week. It's always the